Unfortunately, the Sanggunian was not able to execute all these things perfectly. Still, it doesn't mean at all that it has done nothing in this term. I saw my co-officers work very, very hard to deliver, sometimes at the expense of their academics. I saw many people care. I saw great works done by the Sanggunian this year, and the year before this. Yet, students never seem to care. Why? Apathy? A whole generation filled with disinterested individuals? I think not. Maybe the cause of this is that people in the first place are not presented with issues to care about in their student government. How can you care about something that is not known to you? The lack of proper communications between the Sanggunian and the student body became clear to me. What I saw was that while a number of officers inside are working tirelessly with utmost effort, the students on the outside remain apathetic to their student government, saying, wala namang ginagawa ang Sanggu hindi naman kailangan ng Sanggu. What I saw this year was a huge communication gap, causing the students lack of interest, trust, and confidence in their student, also causing discouragement and demotivation of the many officers inside, consequently causing the it's why I stand to be your next body of the Sanggunian. I Secretary General structure by the students where they can actually attend the student their suggestion students can Sanggunian. Articles perhaps a platform.
I apologize. Hearing for presidential election. Not just first sa mga malaking every government president everything I want to start at my Sanggunian towards sa participatory in university and national affairs. Gusto natin na maging plataforma ang Sanggunian sa pagsulong ng mga interes at advokasya ng ating mga estudyante upang hamunin ang mga institusyon hindi lamang sa loob ng Ateneo pero sa labas din ng ating universidad. The question is, how can we make a participatory youth if Sanggunian is deep not to be working as an institution? The vision of having a policy-making body lives on with making sure that we train not only our central board, but also our course and block representatives to make sure that they are aware of the institution's extent and power inside and outside the university. We will also make sure that the constituents are also updated regularly of the progress of in the Sanggunian matters for we will also participation marginalized we are nationalization and local government institution ito sa pang-national with and President for external JG Song by Sanggunian of mine to have we the responsibility and I am now President do it.
For support. Okay. Central board. Resources. The way to do that is by having a common goal between that sources Sanggunian and the whole organizations have. Thus, I plan for this group of people to actually meet. Second, I also plan to push for cross enrollment for sausage makers because sausage makers have major electives, and the problem is major electives have very limited. We have limited choices here. And thus, I want to push our courses more. Through the Sanggunian or within the research, some help for because
transparency, and B, student engagement in the Sanggunian. So again, question for all of our candidates, how do you plan to increase A, transparency, and B, student engagement in the Sanggunian?
Plan to hold this inspiration for the coming years. Because if we want ourselves to reassert as an institution, authoritative representative of the student body, we need to equip everyone. We need to equip even the grassroots representatives, sports and block representatives, age, but the
of Sanggunian, specifically through making Sanggunian more visible. These promos and graphics the like. But I don't want to stop there. Like, I don't want to stop at merely transparency. I also want to go towards accountability and I also want to go towards relevance for the students. For example, I want to utilize more grassroots-oriented methods. For example, there is this bill, act that's going to be passed through in the Sanggunian called the Home Department Inclusion Act. It mandates that reps should be present in meetings. They should be aware of what the ongoing affairs of their own departments. This will be more relevant to students themselves because na-affect yung curriculum nila eh. Yung pinag-aaralan nila eh. Stakeholders na rin so, thank you.
So regarding transparency and student engagement, I'd like to connect the two naman. Kasi in my platform, in my reach out, I want to an open forum in a town hall plenary. And I can and will use this as an avenue to report the achievements of the Sanggunian and the budget. And I think the great concern here is that how do you get people to attend these forums? I think that the easiest way to do this is to coordinate with the DC cluster. Kasi nakikita ko is parang kumokompetensya ang Sanggu with different organizations. I have been hearing it during this campaign is that bakit ako boboto para sa Sanggu or why should I invest when I have my organization? And
the answer is the direct improve
information when the constituent within sa with
The students should be engaged in the task forces to be formed next year. For example, in Banyan Halalan, if the students are willing to actually participate in the voice station.
So I have two questions, one for the section and then one for the two presidential candidates. So for the section, I'm really hopeful about your platform as it revolves around professionalizing the student government work culture. Now I want you to give me two, one internal and one external, measurable and concrete success indicate whether or not Sanggunian has
What we have 2050. Thank you, Ryan. I mentioned that the five sectoral task forces in the long term would become five Sanggunian departments. That's my opinion because my problem is we have a we have meaning here, have executive go your government has legislation that when we
Ngayon ang tanong ko, kasi honestly, nakaka-dishearten ng very select na ang only tumatakbo ng Central Board Representatives sa ibang schools, sa kanilang year levels. Ngayon dahil ang konti nila, bakit parang once or twice ko lang narinig sa buong ang concern ninyo para sa social involvement ng Sanggunian. I feel like I only heard it in Christian D's platform. At the same time, in Ivan Fernandez's advocacy for the LGBT community. Parang dun lang eh. Ang ibig sabihin ba nito ngayon, wala na sa priority ng Sanggunian, ng social involvement ng student body, not only within the community, not only yun nga,
affect the different social political sectors of society. Thank you.
Okay, so pansinin mo natin ang ating student body. Let me ask you this. Gaano maraming mga students are actually, putting themselves forward to push for advocacies? The thing is, kung papansinin natin talaga, smaller number ito eh. No, and I'm not saying now, walang that many of us
Support their efforts towards becoming more socially involved, and through like showing our support, we can do this through having these talent seminars for all the talent seminars these organizations have, so that we have an avenue, we have a space to cultivate social involvement because they already have projects that allow social involvement. So regarding social involvement, as a member of CRUSADA and as a part of party discipline, of course I'm going to fight for what my party believes in, and as a central board rep, bring this toward SOS, so which is basically like fight for the marginalized, get more students involved. And this is a part of my platform. But so basically what I said in my platform is that we want to provide avenues for social awareness and for social involvement. But first, we want to start. We want to students and then find their own and go pursue
lang natin
Sorry, concerns.
First, community. Yeah, so you can have
You talked about the efforts regarding how the Ateneo can reach out to marginalized groups outside the Ateneo. How then are you planning to address internal issues that the Ateneo is facing, such as anti-democratic portrait, Sanggunian before we first
Bigla
I want this done in coordination with the Sanggunian because
Everyone knows Jericho, you know. They plan to re-establish Lion in less than a year. Most of the members resigned. So
Uh,
For example, anicon, you want to revive it on your mother, sa nanay, at saka sa kids. Diba? Different din siya pinag-usapan. So the point was, we're creating these avenues, these departments, so that we have executive, so that when it forward the external agenda, meron mag-execute.
Thank you very much for giving more light on the lives issue. But first, I'd like to apologize that the last document that we have been transitioned well to me was the first solution that was authored by Gio and that of making a better guide to the financial.
largest
That's what, yung nangyayari kasi is when no one has anything to say, kung hindi pa napag-isipan, yung nangyayari, nasusko lang, and then it just gets pushed to the next meeting. I want CB this year, I want CB members presenting agenda points, clear proposals, because it's a lot more effective to critique a proposal as compared to trying to grasp ideas out of the air. Gusto ko yung pinapresent sa meetings, proposal na mismo, para ganun ka, like the other said. Yes or no na lang, tapos kung no, babago ba Firstly, yun, assign work sana to committees for more easier and better allocation of work. Second, you may nakita ko sa CB meetings is the issue of discourse. While discourse isn't bad at all, pero it's bad kung malabo. So, inisip ko sana just do discourse online, do everything online, para pag ng
Yeah. Since documents ready. So that, and that's what you discuss. And if it's a potential that you can finish within that time period, then you have to set it aside. You deal with it another time. But then you have to just focus on that potential rather than the whole legislative portion that you.
For solving the dynamics of the Sanggunian, I think it's really required sure that the
body that they are complaining about. Nagre-reklamo ba tayong the CISPA, creating the partnerships outside the Ateneo has failed to meet the partnerships outside the Dunang Dea. And for me, they are needs to be an administrative part. Because first and foremost, partnerships and external partnerships should be fully supported by the central board through resolutions. And so because of this, nakalagay dun sa ask.fm ko, no, na sa DEA, okay, DEA should not only be CISPA, under CISPA, no, but they plan to revise the president together with the TIA. Because the president managing both the internal and external affairs to make sure that the student, the officers' welfare, the officers' competencies, and the external partnerships are well maintained. Lastly, DSWS should remain because of its highly competent officers. DPR should be highly invested under the Secretary General to make sure that the DPR is in the front line of informing of Sanggunian's activities or progress when it comes to issues. DRS is an arm that I plan to dissolve. Although I acknowledge the importance of DRS to make as an institution, I plan to partner with the Ateneo Statistics Circle, which in the first place was a product of the Ateneo Sanggunian, to make sure that we utilize their own competencies for research opportunities.
personal housing next week. Okay, so I work sa dato, kung walang pang-aaral, gano'ng kaate? Diba so layers ang operation?
Sanggunian and inequality.
Oo nga.
Okay. Hi, I'm Mike Zifantor. My question is directed to Ray. What's your plan? Okay, out in politics, best friend. Okay, so everything in your platform is basically everything that the Sanggunian already does. For instance, like what you mentioned, na yung task force is a sort of redundant since we already have departments, right? And second, in writing, you said that Sanggunian should begin writing stands, but in fact, you were one of the more vocal people. You remember when we had the stand, when we were supposed to write a stand, with the violence that happened in the University of the Philippines. And you were very vocal about actually not writing a stand. And third, you said that we want to introduce the administration more often. But we're not meeting for the martial law initiative, or the martial law meeting. So, and we work very closely with OSA, the VP's office, and we communicate very well with that. So my question really is, what is really your platform? Give me real, tangible reforms, and tell me how it will concretely solve the problems of the Sanggunian. Since it seems like you don't really have a platform, since everything is already what the
For people that we sacrifice for me to 1 minute.
stands. Let me collect. Okay, so what's going to be your process for writing stands? If you want to talk a lot, because last time it seemed like you wanted to do so much research that we weren't actually able to make a stand. Like there were so many attempts to write stands, and you were very vocal about researching some more and not actually being able to write the stand. If you're as the what's going to be your for writing?
Okay. I guess the process, I'm not sure, but I think it's an active in some ways. Certain calls it light-footedness. For example, kung ito na issue, kailangan kasi ito sinabi before, if actually, for me, ito kailangan so this is happens voice but yeah that's what is that likewise much say bakit mas platform nagkakaroon na ng apathy ng students sa Sanggunian kasi hindi na siya makarelate sa anong klase yun. Your own student government, they can't relate. I'm fighting. I don't fight. So, ba't pa ako dapat mas may sa or as level i-curriculum pa lagyan ng BS o lagyan ko excited lahat yung kailangan makalas kailangan alam mo sa estudyante na ano yung ginagawa sa para niya talaga yung ginagawa sa thank you very much.
Unang-una, why was there failure of elections at the start of the school year? For me, The reason behind that is because the Sanggunian, kapapangan po, pasensya na po. Has failed to reassert the bonds to the second reassert its institution for the Sanggunian plan for this plan for this field to
Question more this very good. Different.
For the two presidents, given your platforms, it seems like last year, platforms, it was restructuring, and this year, it seemed to slowly fade away. It seems indicative that when the going gets tough, the tough get and running. You get the point. So the question, political parties both have to be accountable and the benefit of having a long-term vision. Since if they don't do well, they get elected as a party, blah, blah, blah. Both of you are not from political parties, and both of you shifted your platforms drastically from last year. How are you then both accountable and suitable for long-term vision, given that your platforms are harder this year? How can you assure, personally and professionally, that you will be both accountable and suited for a long term?
the political parties kasi what makes me for the political body to accept and to further the efforts of both political parties and the political parties to come for further efforts for politicization in the near future. And I'd like to report, the responses of my opponent when it comes to my vision. Yes, the projects are important, but I do not want, I am disappointed that resolutions are an end in itself. Resolutions are not only written on paper. Resolutions also call for execution of projects or the execution of task forces. And I do not understand why the opponent sees that the resolutions are the end in itself and not as a means to an end. And so because of this, I want to reassert that the resolutions are very important first for political power, for political support. Resolutions signify that the political support of the Sanggunian is present to advance these efforts. Resolutions report that the document every step of the way of what Sanggunian wants to believe and what Sanggunian wants to fight for. Resolutions serve as spaces for discourse among the central board officers to make sure that every concern of central board officers taken into account. And hindi na yung kapag yung isang tao gagawa ng project, siya lang makakaalam ng project na yun. The Sanggunian must be supporting these projects through written legislation to make sure that all sides of the party are counted. And that for me is the missing link of the opponent seeing the resolution as an end to itself and not as a means to an end. Thank you very much.
This question is directed to the CP candidates. A common theme among all the candidates' platforms here in CP is the idea of initiating social political discourse reflective of the principles underpinning respective platforms.
Dapat mabilis ko. Kaya dapat ang mga tabag sa problema ko sa buhay ko. Problema ko yan. No, I did not specify a particular focus in my platform because I'm even focusing on my
So my platform, it comes from my experiences both in and out of Sanggunian. Kasi like, yung sa akin kasi nagulat ako, like, how hard it was to see in Sanggunian when I was out of Sanggunian already, when I didn't have a position. Like, wala lang ako sa bracket, biglang parang wala nang transparency. So, that's what my platform wants to fix. I want to involve people, other students who are homeless.
For advocacies, my platform was constructed with my candidate.
Okay, what things really advocate for is science is a the past. Just papers also made. Lack of space for them. Content. That's the social system. It's in my platform. Ateneo has trained scientists in training. It's just that it's stuck there in the lab, and because it's not supported, it's not advocated. And that's why I feel like that's why my platform is there to help us.
Advocacy stands for I want to help out the students as well in their life in that way. So for a lot of us, we just we can still better our lives in a way things that don't usually notice these days. They want to address these unnoticeable things for us. If we want us, if we want our community to grow more, so we have to do those things that most of us fail to see and realize. So
Frances Matugas. Frances Matugas.
Programs came from the marginalized. Pulled back from the post.
Dapat sa top. Kasi parang just perfect with
You don't have departments for accreditation. We have data, but then they can't handle all our sectoral problems. That's why I'm creating these spaces. Okay, let's clarify. What would be the difference between these five departments and the three departments there? The thing would be that these five departments will actually be able to pwede siyang pasukan as a justice organization and am I actually addressing the root problem? Yes, I think so. Because if you ask me, Constitution, hindi ko talaga yung problema. O yung meron ba yung relevance? Yung pagtingin ng estudyante sa Sanggunian. Kasi wala naman tayong problema sa quota kung bumoda ng sarili estudyante eh. Kung tinagawin mo yung quota, fine. Kung buwan yung Sanggunian mo. Pero wala tayong pakialam yung estudyante sa Sanggunian mo. Kung nagkakali tayo sa labas, tapos tayo lang, 54, sa may block reps, hindi mo mag-iwan na sabi sa bakit na kung hindi mo sumami yung natirang 7,000 or 7,800 something. Am I addressing the problem? Yes, I should do. Because I'm trying to create structures, very, very specific structures. I want to be the doctor so that students can actually be able to go and participate inside the Sanggunian. Because for me, that's the whole road, that's the biggest problem. Ano yung ginagawa mo sa amin?
Option right now of having a parliamentary form of government. There was even a discussion this year to make the Sanggunian structure into a parliamentary form of government. Pero ang sabi ko naman dyan, bago tayo maging parliamentary forma ng gobyerno, sinasabi ko na kailangan munang maramdaman ng mga opisyal sa Sanggunian kung ano nga bang tunay na legislatura sa loob ng Sanggunian upang bumukas ng mga pintuan para sa politisasyon at diskurso sa loob ng Sanggunian. Ito yung sinasabi ko na before we go to that structure that we want, I want us to embody first that because both structures are aiming for a legislative body in nature, we want the current structure to first emanate itself as a legislative and executive body by proposing procedures on how to make resolutions and how to institutionalize policies inside the Sanggunian. That's why I have given an account that I cannot judge the current Sanggunian constitution because I highly believe that it has not been maximized well for the past 2 years. And that has been what the officers have been debating the issue for in the Sanggunian. Thank you very much.
So, do you have any or candidates for the year